Okay, so we were discussing about bitwise operators, right? And in bitwise operator, we are left with one operator. That is nothing but negation operator. So now let's finish that and let's move on to the next concept. We have few more operators which I have to cover. Okay, so I think we'll be able to quickly cover them and we can move to control statements. Okay, and we can start understanding what are control statements. Now, first let me complete these things. So the last operator that we need to cover is bitwise negate operator. Okay. We call this as negation, or we can also call bitwise not. Okay. You can call it as not or complementer. Okay. Bitwise complementing operator. So it is represented with this particular symbol. We call that symbol as tilde. We call this symbol as tilde symbol, which you can see below your escape key. Okay. So now, why do we need to use this symbol? And when we use this symbol with this operator, what happens? Okay. And where basically we use this particular operator. Let's try to understand all these things. So now, this operator is basically used for complementing bits of the given decimal number. Okay. If I give a decimal number, you know what is a decimal number, right? 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, everything is a decimal number. The number which a human can read, that representation we call it as a decimal number. Right. So if I give a decimal number, okay, so on top of the decimal number bits, okay, so you need to do what? You need to perform a complement. So what is complementing means? Reversing the values. If you have 0, you need to convert that into 1. And if you have 1, you need to change it to 0. So we need to just complement that. So changing the values based on the bits value. So that we basically call it as complementing. So what is bitwise negative operator does? So this operator used to complement the bits of a given decimal number. Okay. So now I will take the decimal number. I will convert that into bits. So to convert that into bits is nothing but which format is that? Binary format. So I use the LCM on the decimal form and I'll understand what is the binary format for it. And once the binary format comes, what I need to do, I just need to complement that. Means every value has to be reversed. If you have 0 bit, change it to 1. Like that, you just need to reverse it. And if you and this way, we just need to perform the complement. So once you complement that, what happens is basically you will get a negative number. Okay, we get what? We get a negative number. So we'll talk about it later. First, let me write all these things and let me write the binary representation for a decimal number. So what is this basically? This operator is what? This operator is used to complement. I just explain what is complementing means, right? Complement the bits of the given decimal number. Okay, decimal number. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this mean actually? It means we change all zeros into ones and all ones into zeros. Got it? This is what we do. Now let's take an example. So I'm taking a decimal number 10. Okay, let me take a integer value a, which is storing a value 10. So I have a decimal number what? 10. Now basically, if you perform the negation on that using the tilde operator, what will be the output that will be coming actually? Let me say system dot out dot print ln of negate of a. So if I try to print this by applying the negate operator, so the output that you will get is minus 11. Okay. So the output that you will get is what? Minus 11 actually. So how we are getting this value? Okay. So that is what something we need to understand now. For which what we will do now? We'll make this decimal number to binary number. So let's try to convert this 10 into decimal number. So how to do it? You people already know, right? How to perform the LCM, right? So if I take a 10, okay. So to get binary number, you need to divide that number with 2. So 2 fives is 10, nothing is left out. So I'm taking the remainder and I'm writing it beside to it. Now again, 2, how many times is 5? 2 twos are 4. Okay, so 1 is remaining. Remainder is 1. So again, put it beside to it. And 2 can be divided by 2 with 1 time. Okay, and whatever the remainder is, just uh, put it to the side. Now start writing it from left to right, from downwards to upward. So how to write it? 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. So let me take it in terms of 8-bit representation. So now if you see your operating system, basically it uses 64-bit representation. And maybe the new OS operating systems, what bit it is using, I'm not exactly sure about it, but we can represent the number based on the representation of the number. We'll be able to write such a long number in binary format. Okay, so when I wrote this value, 4 bits enough to write this value. So that's the reason the value is filled with 4 bits. Now, if I'm trying to represent the same number in 8 bits, so just you will put some zeros there. Okay. In the remaining positions, whatever the remaining positions we have, just put 0 there. Right. So that's the reason I just filled it. So what is this now? This is the binary representation for value 10. Now, what I need to do now? I need to perform the negation, right? So negation of A means reverse it. So what you do generally? So as I told you, wherever you see zeros, turn them into 1, and wherever you see ones, convert them into zeros. Okay. So now I have 0 here, I'll put 1, 1, 1, 1. I have 1 here, put it into 0. I have 0 here, put 1. I have 1 here, put 0. I have 0 here, put 1. Okay. So now, as I told you previously, in this 8 bits, okay, in this 8 bits, okay, so total these are 8 bits, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those are 8 values. In this 8 bits, always, you see this bit, right? You see this first bit. So this bit, we call it as MSB, most significant bit. What is this called? Most significant bit. So what does that mean, and how it helps us, what it helps us in performing? Okay, so it just basically helps us in understanding whether the other 7 bits are there, right? So like I would say, where is this pointer? Now you're able to see all these things, right? All these 7 bits. Okay, so leaving this, you have all these 7 bits, right? So all these 7 bits, if you try to convert that, and if you see the number, so whether that number is a positive number or a negative number, that will be always, you will be able to discover using this value. Whatever the value that is there in most significant bit, based on that, you can tell the value that you convert here, whether it is a positive number or a negative number. Based on that, you will be able to decide that. Now, when you can say the number here is a positive number, and when can you say this number is a negative number? If it is 1 here, then it is a negative number. If it is 0 here, then it is a positive number. That is such simple. Okay. So now you understood, right? How to find out whether a number is a positive number or negative number by looking at the most significant bit. 1 is there, it is a negative, 0 is there, it is a positive number. Okay. For which it will be helping us in understanding. Now, move on. Now, what I need to do? So it is always difficult for to identify what actually the output that we will get based on the what is this negative number. Okay, if you take a negative number and if you try to perform the negative negation, and if you try to understand what is the value, it is a bit difficult. So what we do is we follow a technique, and based on that technique, we will try to understand what is that number. Okay, first we will see this approach, and there is one more simpler approach. I will explain it later. So in this approach, what we do generally, what we do is whatever we have our decimal number. Okay, we have the decimal number represented in binary format, right? Just take that number. Okay, what is that we have? 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. This is nothing but a is equal to 10, right? Just to this, you add 1. Okay, you just need to add 1 to that particular number, to the decimal number. So once I add this, Okay, now perform the addition. Just add 1 and perform the addition. So when you perform the addition, 0 and 1, if you add it, 0 plus 1, how much it is? It is 1. How 1 is represented in binary representation? The number 1. How it is represented binary representation? 0, 0, 0, 1. Right? This is how it will be represented. Right. So now 0 plus 1 is what? 1. Put it 1 here. Now anything is there here? No, 0 I have. If nothing is there, it is 0. So what we will do? Just copy the numbers as it is. Okay, just copy the numbers. Okay, whatever there on the top, just copy those numbers and write them there. So this is the result now. Okay, the negation of 10 is this. Now you just try to convert this binary into this binary number. You need to, now this number you need to convert into decimal again. So how to do it? You just to perform the complements, right? You need to represent the two's complement. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So what will be the value? 8 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1. So how much it is? 11. Now to this number, just put a negative. Okay, just add a negative to this. So what it will become? 11. Understood, right? How to find out the complement of the number? Now, this is a bit difficult approach. If you're not able to follow, just I didn't do anything. To this decimal number, I have added 1. When I added 1, I got some number. I just converted into decimal. Once the decimal number came, I just added a negative symbol to it, negative sign to it, minus sign to it. And that is the value that you will get. Is it understandable or is it difficult for you to understand? Your people are able to understand? Don't try to understand the purpose of it, but what basically we are trying to do. Just nothing. If I gave a decimal number and if I ask you to tell me what is the negation value of that without without checking that in writing a program and checking in the computer and telling me, how you should be able to tell me. What you need to do is take the value, convert that into binary format and add 1 to it. After doing 1 to it, just take the number and put a negative to it. That's it. Okay, so that it will give you the negation of the number that is given. So without looking and without asking the help of, we should be able to do the, if we should be able to identify the number, this is the process of identifying the number. So any questions, guys? If you type there, I don't see, I cannot see that. Anyone please respond to me. Where is it understandable or you have any questions on this? If anyone is having any questions, you can ask me.
Clear, sir.
It's clear, right? Now, it is a bit difficult for you if you are not able to understand the bits format and the way of we are trying to operate on the bits format, then there is a simple approach to do it. What you can do is,
No, sir. Yes, sir.
it is complex for understanding. I couldn't get your voice actually. It is breaking here and there. You're feeling complex in understanding this? Someone actually said me something. I heard it as complex or something. I couldn't understand it properly. Your voice is actually breaking. Can you repeat the sentence again, ma'am?
And give me an example of another number also.
Okay, got it. So can we take A as 11? Can I take this number? This is a positive number now. Or you tell me some number, not ranging a bigger number, because if you take a bigger number, then bit representation will be very lot and it will be difficult for you to convert that. Give me any number.
15.
Okay, let's take 15. 1 second. So now let me take A as 15. Okay, now if I perform negation to it, so what would be the value that you will get? It's nothing but minus 16 you will get. You will get value as minus 16. We will see it. I'll write the program and I will show you how I am able to get minus 16. Now let's try to convert this. Okay, so what I did first, I tried writing the 15, which is a decimal number, into binary number. How to get the binary number? Take 15 divided it by 2. So 2 how many times 15? 2 sevens are 14. 1 is remaining. So I'm just keeping it, I'm writing it beside to it. Now 2 3s are 6. 1 is remaining again. Just write it beside to it. Whatever the remainder is. Now take 2 again. 2 1s are 2. 1 is remaining. And here is 1. So what is the binary representation of 15? Decimal value 15. What is the binary representation? It's nothing but 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So this is the binary for this particular decimal number. The binary representation is this. Can we confirm whether it is correct or not? How to do it? Just put 2's complements here and let me do the operation. So what it will be? 2 zeros ones. 2 to the power of 0 is what? 1. 2, right? Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Right? So it is 1. 1 into 1, how much it is? 1. So 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 into 1, how much it is? 2. So 2 to the power of 6 is what? Sorry, this is 2. This is 3. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 4 into 1, 4. Let me put 4 here. So how much is this? 2 to the power of 3. So it is going to give you 8. Now if you add this, 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 14 plus 1, 15. So is it a binary representation is correct now? So that is correct, right? Now, as we have confirmed this, now let's do it. Okay, what I'm doing here, a is equal to 15, right? Now what I'm doing, just putting that particular binary number here, which is this. Now I need to perform the negation to it. What I need to do, negation means what? Performing, just you need to write the values in reverse. Wherever you have 0, put 1. Okay, wherever you have 1, put zeros. Okay, so this is the negation value of what? 15. Okay, so negation value of 15. So the negation value of 15 is this actually. Okay, so but this is actually a negative number. For a human to tell, looking at this as a negative number and to tell what is the exact negative number, it is for us, it is a difficult process. Okay, for us, it is a bit difficult process. For which to tell what is the negation value of 15, what we do is, we generally take the decimal value as it is. Okay, and what we try to do is, we just try to add 1 to it. One's complement. We just try to add 1 to it. When you add 1, okay, so now this is 1 and this is 1. 1 plus 1, how much it is? 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, right? Now 2, you cannot just write it like this. The reason is, what is 2 actually? What are we trying to perform operations on? Bits. Now you cannot put the decimal number there. You again need to do the binary operation only there. So now for which what you have to do is, you need to write this 2 in binary format. How to write 2 in binary format? So for 2, the binary format is 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay, for 2, what is the binary format? 0, 0, 1, 0. You can cross check that. Okay, you can check that. You people know, right, how to convert decimal number to binary number. You can cross check that later. So, but for this is the number. Now, for what is the value actually? If you remove this 2, this is the actual representation of 2 in binary format. Now, I cannot write this value like this. So basically, if you have 15 and 16, and if I ask you to add, you will get actually 11, right? You will not put 11 here, right? What you will do? You will say 15 and 16, you will write one here, another one, you'll carry it to the next one. And you'll add all these things and put the value there, right? Here also, you'll do the same thing. So now, actual value is what? 1, 0. What you will do? You'll put 0 here and you'll move this 1 to here. Okay, you just carry that number to here. Now again 1 and 1, how much it is? It is again 0. It is again 2. 2 binary representation is what? 1, 0. Now put 0 here and 1 here. Okay, so now how much it is? Again 0 here and 1 here. Again 0 here and 1 here. Now 0 plus 1 is what? 1. Remaining all are what? Zeros. Okay, so remaining all are what? Zeros. Now take this value, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now put the 2's complements here. 2's, 2 to the power 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no need to worry about everything. Just this is the thing we have, right? So 2 written in 4 times. 2 into 2, 4. 4 2s 8. 8 2 16. Right? Am I right? So what is the sum we got? 16. So that is the value I have written here, right? So the negate value of 15 is minus 16. So we are able to get. Now once you get this, you just put a minus to this. Then you will be able to tell what is this actually. This negative value is going to give you an answer as. Is it easy now? You're able to understand? Is it understandable now or still confusing? If it is still confusing for you, anyhow, don't worry about this bitwise operators. The reason is we will not use this anytime. It is very rarely used. And if you are going and if you are trying to write any competitive exams, okay, like there will be certification, Java certification. If you're going there, at that time, they'll be asking questions on this. Okay, in real application development, like if it is web application development or any other application development, we never use this operators. We use them only if it is a networking related applications. Okay, at a networking application level, we sometimes try to deal with the bits actually. At that time, it will be helpful. Okay, at the last, I'm just giving you this input because you don't need to worry if you don't understand this also. And because at this level, you might be thinking it might be difficult. As you move on in the future classes, once again, if you come back and if you try to understand this, it will be easy for you, even if you are not able to understand this now. I'm trying to make it simple for you, but still, if you are not able to follow, don't worry. As you go on, as you move on in the future classes, as they become difficult, at that time, this becomes easy and you will be able to understand them. Okay, now there is an easy mechanism to put this value. Now, if I say I give you A is equal to, let's say, 20. So what is the negation value for this? What is the bitwise not for this? You can simply say, just add 1 to it. It becomes 21, right? Now put minus 1 to it. Sorry, just minus symbol to it. This is the negation value of the decimal value 20. Okay. So negation value of A is now minus 21. Now it is very simple for you. If we have to tell what is the negation value, this is how we need to tell. Now I will give you another number. Can you people, you will be able to tell me? So 30. So what is the negation value of 30? What is the negation value of 30?
Minus 31.
Perfect. Minus 31. What you did? Just add 1 and put the minus symbol to it and add it. It becomes minus 31. Perfect. It's a simple way of telling it. Instead of following all this mechanism, you just use this formula and you can tell. If you feel that is difficult. Okay. But this, don't worry, as I told you, as the concept becomes difficult, as you enter on the new concepts, at that time, again, if you come back and if you look at this, it will be easy for you to understand. But for now, this is the thing. So you are able to understand, right? Everyone, it is clear for you? If it is clear, let's move on to the
Yes.
next. Yeah, all right, then next move on to the
Yes,
next.
sir.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Now, the next operator that we need to understand is ternary operator. Okay, ternary operator. Okay, till now we have seen operators which are taking a unary value and binary value. Okay, which means that binary values means binary operators, which are taking unary operators and binary operators. So unary operators means what? The operators which are taking only a single value or single operand, we call it as, or the operands which are taking two values or two operands. Till now we have seen only that. Now we are about to see an operator which takes three operands and it tries to perform the operation. Okay, so that operator we call it as what? Ternary operator. And that ternary operator is represented using a question mark and a colon. So this is the operator for ternary. Okay, the ternary operator is, this is how it should be written. This is the symbol for it. Okay, so now how we will be using it and how this will work, all these things is what something we have to understand. Okay, so this operator is also called as conditional operator. This also can be called as conditional operator. Also call this as this. Okay, so what this operator basically does, okay, it returns value based on given condition. What we will do, we will pass a condition to it. Now we will pass the condition at some portion of that particular operator. So where we will be passing that condition? Condition is means what? Conditions we know how to write them, right? we use other operators, like we use the relational operators to write conditions. Am I right? So we write conditions using what? Relational operators. And if we have multiple conditions, we use what? We use relational operators along with logical operators also for combining them. And we just write the conditions. Once we write a condition, based on that condition results, whatever the condition that returns, based on that, we need to pick up a value. Okay, there will be a couple of values where they will come and how it has to be picked up is something that we need to understand. Okay, so what is this operator basically? Don't worry, we will see that now. So this operator basically what it do? This operator returns. What it returns? Returns the value based on what? Based on given condition. Okay, now syntax is, okay, so firstly, you just need to write your condition here. The first place, you need to write your condition and there will be a question mark here. And after that, you need to put your first value here, value 1 here. And later, you just need to come up with the column and you can have one more value here. Okay, so this is how basically the syntax looks like. Okay, now how it will work actually. Okay, if this condition is true, then this value will be coming. So this is for true. When value is true, this condition is true. If this condition turns to true, this value will be written. The value which is there in between this question mark and colon, the first value will be written. Value 1 will be written. The condition gives you false, then this value will be written. Okay, so this is what we tried. What we tried to understand. Turn operator returns the value based on the given condition. If the condition is true, then you will get the value which is immediately after question mark. And if the condition is false, you will get the value immediately after the colon. Got it? So where to use ternary operator? If you have a condition and based on the condition, you want to pick up a value, either the value at in between the question mark and colon or the value after the colon. You understood, right? When it will return true and when it will return false. If the condition is true, it returns this value 1. And if it is condition is false, then it will return value 2. Okay, let's try to take example. Let me write it here even. Here, if condition is true, it returns what? Then it returns value 1. Otherwise means if condition is false. Otherwise, if condition is false, then it returns value 2. Okay, now let's take an example. Let's take an example. I have an integer value a as 10 and I'm taking another integer value b which is having a value 2. Now I'm taking another variable c and to this I'm trying to write a condition here. What I'm trying to do? I'm saying a greater than b. Okay, if a greater than b, now return me a. If not greater than a, b, return me b. If the value is true, return me a. If value is false, return me b. Now, if I try to print this, okay. So, which is the bigger number? It has to print. The bigger number is. The bigger number is. So, where is that value I'm trying to store? So, after this condition, it decides which has to return, and that value will be returned to what? To C. We talked about assignment operator, right? What happens in assignment operator? So the right side, you can write anything, expression or variable or a value. So what happens? If you write an expression that gets evaluated and whatever the result that comes and stores into this particular variable, right? Now what happened is expression got evaluated and after that some value is returned and that value we stored it in C and that C is what we are trying to print here. So what is that I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to find out which is bigger, whether A is bigger or B is bigger. If A is bigger, return me A. If B is bigger, return me B. Okay, now can anyone tell me what will be the output that will be printed? Can anyone tell me in this case, what will be the output that will be coming?
The bigger number is 10.
Yes, perfect. So it is 10. So it has to print 10. So let's test this. And also let me also try to test the negative operator. Okay, let's test both of the things. Give me a minute. Let's try this program. Okay, so I just opened my editor. So there is a new file which is opened already. Now let me write a class. First, I haven't covered that bitwise, right? Bitwise operator example. Let me cover that fastly and let's move on to that particular. Now, just whatever we have written now, we will be covering that also. So for this, what do I need? I need a public static void main method. Okay, which is a string and pass. Let me write down. So what we have seen, I have taken int a is equal to 10. Okay, and what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to say system dot out dot print lm of negation of a. I'm just passing the variable. Now, if I save this, so I wanted to save this as a bitwise operator example dot java. Where do I want it to store? Yes. And inside this, just let me save this. Now, let me go to my command prompt. Let me go here. Right now, where I am at my root folder. Now, I need to go to desktop. Let me go to desktop. Let me say, what is the command? CD. I need to say desktop. So on the desktop, I have what? I have core Java package folder. Let me go there. And inside that, I have batch 1. And from this, I need to go inside, in which I have batch 1. I have day 11. So today's program is there in day 11. And now here is that I have the program. Now I'm able to go to the directory. Now I can start compiling my program. So what is that I need to do? For compiling, I need to use javac command and give the file name. What is the file name I have written? Bitwise operators.java. Click on enter. If everything is fine, compiler will be able to create the .class file. Yeah, everything is fine, no issues. Now just try to execute the class by using java command, which is nothing but the JVM. So it should be able to print -11. So we are able to get -11? Yes. Now let's say if I give a value as 15. So if I give a value as 15, okay, and if I try to do the negation again, so let's see in this case what happens. So as I did some changes to it, I need to recompile that. So let me use this command again. Everything seems fine. Yes, it is able to execute. Now let me execute this class using Java command. So see this 15 as we discussed, it should give us -16. So it is able to give, right? Also, we have checked one more, right? 30. So let's see whether for 30 it is giving us 31 or not. It has to give -31. Okay, so let me recompile again as we did changes. I came to the command prompt and I'm trying to compile the class. So it is able to compile now. Let me execute the class. Okay, so it is able to give you 31. Okay. So it is clear with the bitwise operator. Now let's move on to our concept now. Just we have discussed now about ternary operator. Okay, so let me write the class and I will say ternary operator example. Okay, so now I need a main method here. What is the syntax? Public static void main, which will take what? String array as an argument. Okay, now what I need to do here, I want to I want to take a variable which is integer and I want to give a value to it as 10. And I want to take one more variable which I'm calling it as b and I'm passing a value to it as 2. Now I'm writing a condition. So what is that condition? If a is greater than b, okay, now I want you to return a. Okay, if a is not greater than b, then return me b. Okay, now this is actually it's actually an expression. This whole part is an expression. This gets evaluated and this will return some value. Now I want to store that value into what? Into a variable C. For which what I'm trying to do, I'm using the assignment operator by declaring the C. So this is declaring of C, and whatever this is returning, I want that to be stored in the C. And after that, what I want to do, I wanted to print the value which is there inside that particular C. Okay, so which I'm calling it as the bigger number. The bigger number is C. And put a semicolon there, as every statement should end with semicolon. Now save this file. Okay, and put the extension .java. And let me save it in day 11 itself. Oh, something on top. It is very nutty, actually. So let me save this. Now it is saved. Let me come to the compiler. Okay, and let me use the JavaC command, and it is ternary operator example .java.
Sir,
Compile this.
println wrong, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah. So as we written wrongly, so it has thrown us an error. Okay, it is saying that it is not able to find this method. So there is no method called as println. Okay, so I am unable to understand this. Kindly correct me with the proper method name is what it is trying to tell you. Yeah, we have written that name. There is a mistake here. print println, right? Let me save this. Control S. Come here again. So compile this again. Yeah, now this time we don't have any issues with that. Now let me execute it. So let me say ternary operator example. Click on this. So the bigger number is what? 10. So which value is returned? So as the condition is true, it has returned me this one. If the value would have false, it has given me this. Now I have written this condition for checking the bigger number, right? And I want to write a condition which is to find out which is the smaller number. For which what I will do now? I will say A is less than B. If A is less than B, then what if A is less than B? No, right? A is 10 and A is not always less than B because B is what? 2. A is not less than 2. So what will happen? This will return you false. False means which one will get executed? This one or this one? The other part of the column has to be executed. That has to be written, not executed, right? So shall we check that? Let me take this. The smaller number is what are the smaller number that is going to be written to C. Now let's see. As the condition is false now, previously discussed, if it is false, now the other part, this one has to be executed. This one has to be written. If it is correct, this one has to be coming. If it is wrong, this one has to be coming. Anyhow, we know that this condition is wrong because A is not less than B, because A is 10 and B is 2. 10 is not less than 2. Now save this program, come to the command prompt. We did changes, so recompile it. Everything seems cool. Now let me execute it. How? By using Java command. Click on enter. So the smaller number is 2. So we are able to get the output, right? The smaller number is 2. Understood, right? How ternary operator works? Is it clear, guys? How ternary operator works? Simple. It is used for writing a condition. And the symbol is question mark colon. So what you will write? You will write condition before the question mark. If the condition evaluates to true, whatever is there in between question mark and colon, that value will be written. Value 1 will be written. If the condition, whatever you have written is false, the value after the colon will be written, which is value 2. That's it. That if we use it for that sake, that's it. You write condition, for writing the condition, you can go using the ternary operator. If you have any time that you have two chances of picking the number, which one has to be taken up, and that has to be decided based on the condition. At the time you have to go for using this particular operator. I have a condition, based on that I have to take either this or either that. Okay, if condition is that I have to take this, if condition is true I want to take this, or if condition is false I want to take the other part. If you have any approach in your programming, then go for using this particular operator. And this is the syntax and this is the way we put it, and that we'll be able to, as we have tested it, this is how it generally works. Now, if you have any questions, I can answer, or otherwise we can move to the next operator. Any questions? Or for getting some more clarity, let me write some complex example, and let's see that. For you to make this understanding, let me do one thing. Let me give you one more example. So what we'll do, yeah, so we'll take one more simple example and let's try to say this. Let me say example 2. Now this time what I want to do is int a is equal to 10 and int b is equal to 20. So I have taken this. Now I'm declaring a variable int c, okay, which is equal to what I'm doing. A is greater than, if a is greater than b, okay. So what I want, if a is greater than b, I want a minus b, okay, or otherwise I want b minus a. Okay, so I'm just trying to put this condition here. So I'm just trying to say this as subtraction. You can do this also. Okay, it will get executed based on it. So just trying to print the C here. Okay, so take this example and you try to work on it and try to understand. You guess the output, what you will get, and expect after guessing that, so check your answer whether what you have expected, it is able to give you that particular result or not. Okay, you just try this afterwards. Now let me tell you one more point here. So what we can also do is we can perform nesting. We can also nest the ternary operator. We can also what? We can also nest ternary operator. What is meant by nesting? What is meant by nesting? So writing a condition again, based on the condition, if you want to execute one more condition, and on top of it, you can write one more condition. Like you want multiple conditions to be executed, and based on that, you want to decide. Okay, so we generally do what for the such type of conditions, we perform nesting. Okay, what we try to do, we try to perform nesting and we try to do it. So like, let's say now, till now I have only two numbers, and in between them I'm trying to understand which is greater, which is a bigger number. Now I'll take three numbers, and between those three numbers I wanted to check which is a bigger number. Now let me take one more example here. Example 3. What I will say is int a is 10. I'm taking one variable and I'm trying to take one more variable, which is b, which is actually what? B. And B value, let's say 2. And I am trying to take one more variable, which is 6. Okay, so this is 2. Okay, this is what we have. We have three variables, 10, 2, 6, A, B, C. These are the variables. Now I wanted to understand what D will, what we will get in D. What will be written to D when I write a condition like this. What I'm trying to say, I wanted to know which is bigger among all these things. Okay, if A is greater than or equal to B, and okay, and A is greater than or equal to C. Okay, so if A is greater than or equal to B and A is greater than C, so we can tell what? We can tell whether A is bigger or not. Okay, I'm trying to check what? I'm trying to check whether A is bigger or not. Now with that, it is not sufficient, right? We also need to have what? We also need to know which is whether B is bigger or not. So I have written only for A. I'm checking here whether A is bigger or not. So if A is not bigger, next I need to check what? B, whether B is bigger or not. And later I need to check for C, whether it is bigger or not. So if you are able to identify two conditions, and if these two conditions are not working, then you can simply say what? C is bigger, right? Now I'm trying to write one more nesting here. For which what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to put one more nesting. So this condition, if it condition is giving you true, okay, if A is greater than B and B is greater than equal to C. So if it is true, return me A. Okay. Otherwise, after the column, I'm trying to write one more nesting operation here. What is it I'm trying to say? If B is greater than C, greater than equal to C, and B is greater than equal to A. In this case, return me B. Otherwise, return me C. Otherwise what? Otherwise, return me C. I'm just putting it here. Otherwise, return me C. You understand what we're trying to do? We tried performing nesting. So here, if this condition is true, return me whatever is after the question mark. Return me A. So if it is false, now what I'm doing in the value to section, I'm trying to write one more condition here. Using what? Using again ternary operator. If you try to put anything like this, we call it as nesting of conditions. And here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to check whether B is bigger. If B is bigger, I'm asking you to print B. If not, I'm asking you to print C. Understood? Now, this is the approach what we are trying to do. We took three numbers and used ternary operator to check which number is actually bigger number. Okay, if it is A is bigger, we tried doing that operation and A will be written. If B is bigger, B will be written. And if C is bigger, C will be written. Now, among all these things, which is bigger?
A.
A is bigger. So now you should be able to see when I print D, D should be printing me what? D. A is bigger. Okay, means 10 should be the bigger value. Let me say sys out here, SOP off, and I will say just D is whatever is there, whatever is written, that will be stored in D. So D is, so put a plus symbol, D is a bigger number. Okay, just trying to print it. So can you people, I'll just give you these notes, right? Looking at this example, you just code this and check whether what is returning. We thought that 10 should be written here. 10 should be the value that should be printed. Check whether it is giving you value 10 or not. Okay. Now with this, we are able to complete ternary operator. Okay. So what is possible with the ternary operator? You can also perform nesting. In this way, you can do any number of nesting. There is no limit. Okay. So there is no limit. You can, in this way, you can write any number of nestings. Got it? Now let's move on. Based on the requirement, you can write the nestings. Now, the next thing which we have to understand is new operator. What is the time? Okay, so 1:53, right? Okay. So new operator. I think this is the last operator which we need to discuss, or we have anything else? Okay. And we have a dot operator. Okay. So there are two more operators. That's it. If we are done with this, we are done with all the operators. Tomorrow we can move to control statements. So I forgot to discuss about these things. So later I am able to remember this and I'm trying to discuss these things as well. Okay. So now what is new operator? Okay. So in Java, new is a Java keyword. What is new? It is a Java keyword. Okay. Basically, new is what? New is one of the keyword in Java. Okay. It can also be called as operator. It can also be called as what? Operator. Okay. So why do we need to use this operator? So which is used to create the object. What is it? To create an object. Okay. So in Java, we need a physical representation for a class. What we need? We need a physical representation for a class. So what is a physical representation for a class? What is class? Class is nothing but as a blueprint. Okay, class is what? A blueprint which helps us in designing what actually needs to be represented physically. So you can think class as what? A blueprint means you wanted to draw a diagram, like how you wanted to, you want your home to be built. Okay, you want to build a house. Now, if you want to build a house means which has to be existing physically, first you need to have a visualization, right? You need to have you need to have an idea like how your house has to be created, or I mean, how it has to be built, how many kitchens has to come, and how much it should be the size. What we do for which we'll take a paper and we just write, we'll be drawing a diagram like how it should look like. Okay. Now, with this particular diagram, whatever is there, we can't go into that paper and we cannot stay physically. It is just what? A blueprint, which is not having any form, but which is giving you an visualization of how the physical representation has to come. Okay. So here also in Java, class is always a kind of blueprint which helps the JVM, like how it should be able to have the physical representation. Okay, for which what it will do to bring the physical representation for the class, it creates an object. Who has to create object? We have to only create the object. Okay, you understood, right? For every class to get the physical representation, nothing but to make those values to come into the heap area and to perform all the operations. Now we discussed about the JVM architecture. If you remember, there is a section called as heap. And every time your class information is available as part of our method area. Now it is putting into the method area. It is putting into the method area. After putting from the method area, as the physical representation has to come, it will create an object and it will put that particular object related memory inside the heap memory. Okay. Now the question is, I want an object for a class. If the object is not created for the class, then you cannot do anything. So what is that we need? We need an object for a class. Now, if an object should be presented for a class, how to create that object? That is nothing but we use this particular new operator, or we can also call it as new keyword. You understood why we need new operator? New operator is used for the sake of creating object for a class. Is it clear? New operator is what? Simply remember that. Simply remember that. Okay, anytime if I ask you guys to create an object for a class, now there is a class, I want you to create an object. So what you should remember, operator called new, using which we will be able to create an object for a class. Okay, if you can remember this, then you will be able to understand the rest. So what is that I'm doing here? I'm trying to use a new operator, which is used for the purpose of creating the object. So now next. Now we have predefined classes and user-defined classes. Am I right? What are predefined classes? The classes which are given by Java and third-party people, Java-related third-party people. And we have user-defined classes. User-defined classes means what? The classes which we have written. Till that we have written so many user-defined classes. Like if you remember, right, just now only we have written one class. What is it? What is it? Ternary operator example. Previously, we have written bitwise operator example. So we have written our own classes, right? They are called as user defined. And which are the classes which we are using, which are automatically coming from libraries, Java libraries, they're called as predefined. So we can create object for both user defined and predefined classes. So object will be created for what? For a class. Using what? Using new operator. And we can create objects for, we can create, just give, okay. So we can create an object for both user-defined and predefined classes. All right. Now, so creating an object, nothing but allocating memory so that we can use in the application. If I say creating object means what? Creating object is nothing but allocating memory so that it can be used in the application. What? Creating an object is nothing but allocating memory so that we can use in the application. Right. So once the object is created, okay, and it will be located inside the heap memory. So where is the object is going to be created? Object will be created inside the heap memory. Okay. Once an object is created, that will be what? That will be located. Means if you can find that object inside what? Inside the heap memory. If you remember the JVM architecture, okay, inside the heap memory, we will be able to find the object. Okay, allocation memory will be allocated inside the heap memory for the object. Okay, now what is the syntax? What is the syntax of using this particular operator? So firstly, we need to mention the class name. Okay, and followed by reference variable. Reference variable. Okay. So you can just call it as a variable, right? Till now you have tried calling as variable only. For this particular variable, why you are trying to call reference means if a variable is trying to point an object, then we call it as reference variable. It is still a variable, okay, but we call it as reference variable. If a variable is just trying to point to a value like this, just a normal value 10, 20, 30 like that, or any other data type, at that time we just call it as what? We just call it as a variable. But if the object is trying to point or trying to refer to an object, okay, so then we need to call it as reference variable. So what is syntax? You first need to tell what is the class name, and then you will have your reference variable name. Just put a equal to and use this new operator and write the class name again. Write the class name again and just try to put these two symbols. Okay, open parenthesis and close parenthesis, semicolon. Okay, this is how you need to write or you need to create object for a class. Okay, let's take an example. Let's take an example. Okay, so let me declare a class. Let me declare a class, declaration of class. How to declare a class? So let me declare a class called demo. Okay, so first I will write what is with class. I'll use a keyword called as class and followed by class name. So this is the declaration, right? So I have declared a class called class demo. Okay, and let me put this open parenthesis and close close flower brackets. Now, how to create object for this class? How to create object for this demo class? So what is it? Declaration of object. How to do this? Declaration of object. How to do this? Is nothing but simply. So if you follow the syntax, can anyone tell me? Just look at this syntax, and I have given a class called demo. Can you just try to tell me how to create object for this class? Anyone? As I shown you the syntax, here I'm trying to show you a syntax, right? Using this syntax, and this is the class I have given. Okay, you people should be able to identify what is the class name, and reference variable means it's up to you what you wanted to name. Okay, and I told you that we call it as identifier, and we need to follow the identifier rules, and we have to give the variable name. And later we have this syntax. Now, can I put someone to this class? Now I wanted to create an object. Can anyone help me to write that particular syntax? I mean, how to create the object for this class? By looking at the syntax, can anyone help me? Like how we'll be able to create object for a class called as demo? Anyone? Just try, because it helps whether you are able to understand that or not. Give me 2 more minutes, we can close this. But anyone, can you help me? Can anyone help me? If you understood, can you just help me to create object for a class, object for this class called demo? Anyone? No?
Demo.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, demo. Okay.
Reference variable.
Yeah, you can give any name. I'm saying D. Now, this D will act as a reference variable. Perfect. Now, after that,
New.
right. In new, everything should be small only. In new keyword, every alphabet is small. Later,
Demo.
right. And
Parenthesis.
right. Perfect. So this is the way we create the object. Now, anytime if you give a class, if I give a class and if I ask you to create an object, now this is how you need to create the object. Understood? Okay. Now, what happens basically in the heap memory? If you take this, like let me, when this line is executed by JVM, what it does is we have a heap memory, right? Let's assume this is the heap memory inside the JVM. We have what? We have a heap memory. Let me call this as a heap memory. Let me put this as a heap memory. Now, inside this, there will be an object which will be created like this, and this one, this new demo, right, is there, right? The object will be referred here. And this particular object will be referred by D, which is something we will call it as reference variable. Okay. So for demo class, there is an object which is created in the heap memory, and it is referred by D reference variable. Got it? This is what happens inside the JVM. Got it? Now with this, we are able to complete new operator, and we have the last operator. Just give me 2 minutes. It is very simple. We'll be able to close this. Just give me 2 minutes. This is the last operator. If you can close operators today, so that from tomorrow we can start a new topic. The last operator we have is dot operator. It just takes 2 minutes to explain. Just let's try to, so that's the reason, just try to concentrate for 2 minutes. So it is a dot operator. So we use what? This symbol. We use this symbol to represent the dot operator. Okay. So what is this? This operator used to access. What is this? This operator is used to access the members. Members of what? Of the class. Okay. Using what? Using reference or column like. Okay. Like, one second. Don't let me not confuse you with this statement. Okay. So what is it? So this operator is used to access the member of the class, members of the class. So when I say members of the class, variables and methods. Okay. So in a class, what we have seen till date, we have seen variables and methods, right? So we have seen what are variables and we have seen what are methods. Okay, still there is a lot to discuss about methods and variables, but still you know what is a method and you know what is a variable. So these two combinedly, we need to call means we will call them as members. So when I say members of a class means you need to remember that, okay, whatever is there in the class, those all those things we call it as, all those components combined, we call them as members. Understood? So what is this? This operator is used to access. What is accessing means? Calling them. Okay. You need to call that. So if you want to access the members of a class using what? Using a reference. There will be a reference. Now here the reference is what? D. If you see in the previous example, there is a reference, right? Reference is what? D. Now using that D, whatever is there in the object demo class, that you need to access. If you want to access it, then we go for using the dot operator. Now let's say in the previous example, if let's say in this demo class, I have a variable int a is equal to 10. Let's say if I have this. Now, if I want to access this, what you just need to do is you just need to say d dot a. So that the a is going to act, the a value will be accessed here. Means you will be able to get the a value by using that reference. Got it? So this operator is used for the purpose of accessing the members of the class using a reference. Okay. So now if you wanted to see some examples, so example is, so I have a reference. I have a reference and I have a variable like this example. I have a reference. Reference is what? D, and I have a variable A. Okay. So if I have a reference and if I want to access a variable, so how to write it? This is what? In between those two, you just need to put this dot. Okay. And I have a method actually. Okay. I have a reference and inside the class, I have a method. So how to access that method? Just put that dot and call the method name. Just call the method name. Okay. So, and using the reference, you are calling a variable and method. So there are some methods which you can also call by using the class name. So some of the things we will be calling with the reference and some of the things we can also call using the class name. So how you use them? You can use class name followed by put a dot again and put the variable here. So what is this? All these things are, you're accessing them. If you want to access members of the class, then you need to go for using the dot operator. Similarly, class name dot, I want to access the methods. Okay, method name. Okay. Now this operator can also be used to refer or identify. To refer, or if you want to identify identify the class from a package. At that time also, we will be able to, it will be helpful, right? Like what is that example? Now I have a package, java dot lang dot no such method error. Okay, so this operator can also be used to refer or identify the class from a package. Now, among this, there are 1, 2, 3. This is one dot and this is one dot. We have three things here, three names here. Out of these three names, which is the class name? Okay, to identify that also, this particular operator will help us in knowing what is that particular name of that class, because the dot is able to separate it out. Right, the dot is here is able to separate it out. Now this dot is used for you to identify the class name from the package, and also this operator is also helping you in what? This operator is also helping you in calling the members. If you want to access the members of the class, then also you need to use that dot operator. Okay, so dot operator is what is used for the purpose of accessing members of the class by using the reference or by the class name. So if you want another example, I can say java dot string. Okay, now you can say java is one word and string is one word, and here string is the class name. Got it? So if you are able to follow, it's okay. Or if not, we'll be using this a lot in our future examples and future coding. So you will be able to overcome that particular confusion problem in understanding this. But to be simple, this is what it does. You have members inside the class and you wanted to access them, use this particular dot operator and call them. All right, guys, any questions? I'm done for this, done for today. Do you have any questions? Any questions anywhere?
Subscribe for more videos and hit the bell icon for notification of videos.